Do you feel frustration? Like nothing is ever working for you. Like it may work for a little bit, but then something happens and you go back to your old patterns. You go back to old ways of doing things. You go back to the old choices that you've always made. And you feel like it's a never ending rat race. Well, friend, buckle up because today we're going to talk about the one thing that we're missing that'll make everything fall into place, that helps us get out of the rut we're in, helps us understand how to make new choices, new habits, new routines. It's the one thing that we're missing even when we try everything and it doesn't work long term. Let's do this. Hey, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tami. I am your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. Frustration. That is what I feel. Have you ever had the thought, like, I have tried everything and nothing's working, or nothing sticks, or I make all the changes and I just, first thing that comes up, I go back to my old routines. I've tried everything, Tami. This is something that I hear a lot. And honestly, it's something that I say to myself. It's actually one of my first cues that I'm overwhelmed, or I haven't been going back to the basics. I haven't gone back to what I know works. And so I wanted to help you today. I just want to talk about when you're feeling like nothing is working and nothing's happening, nothing can last, nothing can stick, nothing. You're feeling tired, overwhelmed, overworked. You're kind of numbing out instead of experiencing life. Your relationships are they're kind of stunted. You're just being next to the person. You're not actually like connecting, and we need connection. And so I wanted to talk about some of the things because I know what you've tried, because I've tried them too. Extreme time management, like trying to do the time blocking, trying to eat the frog first. If you haven't read that book, it is a great book. It talks about how you should do the hardest thing of your day first. Try habit trackers. I love a habit tracker in my planner every week. There's a little spot that has a habit tracker. Tried watches, you tried reminders, you've tried books, you've tried self-help books, you've tried books on different techniques, on how to make changes, these self-help, whether they're faith-based or not. Parts of it may work, but do they last a long time? Is it lasting results? Other things, retreats and different events, live events that you're like, I was so motivated. I loved it. I love a good live event. So much that's one of the things that I want to do towards the fall of this year. And hopefully I will share more, but getting together for like a 2-day retreat on purpose and calling and understanding you. But still, you go to these retreats, you try these new habit trackers, you have reminders and you have lists and you have checklists, you have books, you have time management systems, you make resolutions, you set goals, you set smart goals. You sat and you wrote them all out and really hashed out, and you know what it is. Well, quick fix wellness tips and self-help care. Like you will go and get that massage because you need it. I'm not dissing the massage. We all need them. I love them. I don't get them nearly enough. And those are all temporary. None of these things are wrong. None of them are bad. They all have elements that work. They all have, I mean, people wouldn't write a book about it if it's something that didn't work for them, right? People wouldn't share if they didn't have success. These therapy, like how many times have you gone to therapy and not been able to get the changes that you're looking for? And but therapy does, it's important and it has a place. The thing is, all of these things are missing a very, very key element. All of them have great tips and tricks, and they have science behind them. They may have education behind them. They will have experience and experts who will walk you through how it worked for them. And you are all excited and you throw everything into it and you still come out frustrated. Things are still challenging. Things still go back to the way they were, maybe even worse because you had a glimpse of what it could be when it's really working well. Well, all of these have one key missing factor. And that's what I wanted to share with today is what is missing from all of these things? What is missing from the time management systems, from the quick fix wellness and self-help tips? Even going on a walk, like it changes your perspective. Going on a walk, it revitalizes and rejuvenates you. And I highly suggest it. I try to do it daily, at least being outside for a minute or two, hopefully more like 30 minutes. But even these things are not bad. These things are great things to do. And if we don't actually bring this one missing element into all of the things we do, if we don't take this into consideration when we're building our plans, creating our goals, setting our resolutions, attending the retreats, creating our time management system, creating our meal planning system, creating our habits, if we don't take this one thing into consideration, none of this other stuff will last. It's the key piece to actually making all of these things. Nothing that you've done has been wasted. I don't believe that we should regret things because we make the choices, we do the things we believe is that in our best interest in the moment. Whether it's good, bad, indifferent, when we take ownership of our choices, even empowering ourselves today by saying, you know what, no, I did choose that and it wasn't a great choice. I would not choose it again. There's an empowerment there. There's a change that switches in your brain that shows you that you're actually in charge of your thoughts and you're in charge of your feelings. You're in charge of your decisions. You're in charge of the direction of your life. And that the great thing about being in charge of it means that you can change it at any moment. You can change direction, you can change your course, you can create a new habit, you can notice a rumble strip or a boundary that you maybe haven't been putting into full effect and that you need to again. I don't believe that we should regret. I especially don't ever regret reading a book. Like the authors who write these books they are amazing. They poured their heart and their experience and their expertise and their soul into these books for us, and we can gain something from them. And without this missing piece, it's just another book we put on our shelf. It's just another time management system that we chalk up to, well, it worked for somebody, but it's not working for us, for me. A retreat that you feel great in and you feel empowered, and then you go back home to real life and those feelings dissipate because there hasn't been a transformation. Those quick fix wellness tips and tricks and those things that we do to take care of ourselves, we do them once, we feel better in the moment, but it doesn't actually fill our cup. It's a triage, self-triage. We just kind of put a Band-Aid on our lives. What is this missing piece? And I'm sure by now you're like, Tami, what is this element Like, so I can add it and move on. So all of this other stuff will work. And I know from experience, I know from research and science and study and my even my quiet times, we it reflects back to this. The missing element is you. So stay with me here because you're like, Tami, I'm part of it. I was the one doing all the work. But do you know what your core motivations are? Do you, and I'm not talking about what drives you as in like what celebrations. Because hey, you know what? There's not much I will do. I won't do. There's not much I won't do for some good cheese. Like, give me some blue cheese. Yes, I know a lot of people don't like it. Manchego. I adore Manchego cheese, and I will get up, go to the gym. I will go and I probably won't do a lot of running, maybe a little bit. There's limits, but what these motivations, I'm talking about core motivations. What drives you? What gets you up in the morning? This is more than just your why. This is a 7-layer deep why. This is a an element that understands why you do what you do. Why is that time management system not working for you? Well, if you are heart-centered and you lead with your emotions and your feelings, and you have a very logical and thought out time management system, there's a dissonance. There is a disconnect. There's a missing part that will make it all work. And so understanding what drives you will help you see what you need to add or shift or change, or the lens or the perspective you need to see these things through. Even when it comes to self-care, I am a gut-centered person. I make decisions based on instinct and based on what I know to be true. And so if I have well, with self-care, I will say, "Oh, I need a nap," and I will go take a nap. But the fact is that I knew that that's what I needed first, but I actually needed connection with someone. Like, I needed that rest. I needed to step back. I needed to retreat. But understanding that I needed to bring in my my heart and my thoughts into the self-care. I was depending so much on my gut that I was neglecting the other centers of intelligence, my other heart center and head center. And so it wasn't giving me that balance. So it didn't work for long. So the more we understand our core motivations, the more we can say, okay, this is what I really need. And this is what I'm lacking. This is what I need. This is how I see the world. And this is what I need to bring in to give it a bigger, broader, more clear picture. And the next one is your core avoidances. I'm not just talking about being afraid of something, of your fears. I'm not talking about, you're afraid of public speaking. And so, or you're afraid of getting things wrong, or the afraid of, not knowing your next step. I'm talking about your deep core, like inner drive, it's like subconscious level, what your core avoidances are. These are things that typically they're subconscious until we start to develop them, until we start to draw them out and really understand them. They drive us and we don't know. It goes back to knowing what we do and why we do it. It drives the car on autopilot and we try different things, but we don't understand why it's not working. So with the time management system, when I'm trying a new time management system, if I don't give myself a little pep talk, or if I don't look at the perspective of, okay, this time management system is not about getting it perfectly right, not following exactly what the author or the person who created it is stating. It's about a framework. It's about here's how it can work for me because I want to get things right and I'm an all or nothing. So I will dive in and I will go all in and then I switches to nothing because I can't manage it. By understanding that in me, now I can add checkpoints. I can take a few things away and slowly, create a plan to implement this new time management system. This book that I'm reading, I can understand now from a perspective of, oh, this is what I'm avoiding and this is what I'm missing and lacking. And how can I make it easy for myself? How can I spin it? How can I give myself that safe space so I can see that it's safe, that it's okay, that it's actually something that I want or will get me what I want. And so it's worth doing. Another one is your core desires. This is so much more than just your desire to have a house by the beach. These are like the altruistic. These are the, again, subconscious level. These are the deeper meaning of why we do what we do. If we continue the thought of, well, for me, like I want I want this world to be a beautiful place. I want this world to work, and I want to improve the things. I want to improve your lives, your kids' lives, their kids' lives, and I want to impact. So that's one of the things that I desire. And so if I am looking for a quick fix that doesn't actually speak to what I desire, it's not going to last. Now, it doesn't mean that everything that I do needs to impact others. But what it means, what it's saying is that if I understand that that's what drives me, that that's what gets me up in the morning, then I can say, okay, Tami, creating this habit will actually make it so you can do this in the future. I've been working on my social media lives. I love podcasting. I don't edit a lot of my podcasts. So it's kind of like I could do them live because it is what it is. I've gotten comfortable realizing that they don't need to be perfect. But I know that like going live for whatever reason, I think it's because people can instantly see it and instantly be part of that experience, where when I'm recording on the podcast, if it's not good, I just delete it. Or I just stop it in the middle and start over. Like I can do that. So there's a safety there. But I also know that for people to get to know me and my heart, and the fact that I do want to impact and that it doesn't have to be perfect and we can take messy action. That was one of the things that God has shown me that I need to do. I need to show up as the real me, as the making mistakes, losing my train of thought, going off on a tangent, having my squirrel brain, the shiny objects, showing up and laughing myself or the things that I'm doing. And so that's one of the things that I was like, okay, Tami, in order to make a lasting impact, adding this and pushing through and doing this, making this change will allow that in the future. All of a sudden, I can look at it from a different perspective. I can look at it through a different lens, and I can see how it works based on my needs, just me. And so when you are looking to add something, change something, eliminate something, if you want all of the other things that you've spent so much time, money, energy, resources on, don't scrap them. Set them aside for a little while and really get clear on who you are, your core motivations, those deep down important motivations, those core avoidances, the core desires, and you actually get to consider the vision you have for your life. Now, if you're like me, I really do want what God wants for me. I know that whatever He's planned is a million times better than what I could even dream up, but it doesn't stop me from visioning, from creating a vision and moving towards it and speaking it out and talking to Him about it. Because if I don't, He's put it in my heart in the first place. And if I don't ask Him, okay, it's like this or something better, like here's what I'm thinking, He can't guide my thoughts or my actions or my experiences or the people that I come across. Well, He can, but He does. It's not as obvious if I don't bring Him into the conversation. So don't shy away from creating a vision for your life. I have a new resource and I'll put it on in the show notes here, but it's like, how is your vision board working for you? Without a vision, people perish. And we spend so much time crafting these beautiful and artistic vision boards, and then they sit and they actually aren't working. Well, I'll tell you, don't scrap them, but there's a few things you need to add, a few things you need to consider. And so this worksheet, that's what it does, is it helps you use the vision board, add these few key pieces, and actually make it something that is going to elevate and push your life forward, toward your goals, your vision, the dream that you have deep in your knower. So friend, like so many times we look outside of ourselves, but I'll put that resource, the link in the show notes because you should get it. It's really good. Even if you're not a vision board person, you should be a vision person. And I'm going to start talking more about that coming up as well. But let me wrap up here because friend, don't scrap everything you've been doing. Don't be hard on yourself because you're frustrated and things aren't working. Give yourself a break and realize, why are they not working? You're trying to implement something that worked for somebody else and you don't even have all the information. Even if they wrote a book about, even if it was 1,000 pages, you still would not know some key decisions, some key elements and factors. You don't know their driving factors, what their core motivations and their core fears that caused them to create it this way. And so you don't have to be stuck in thinking that just nothing works for you. You don't have to be frustrated because you've tried all the things and nothing works. You get to take a deep breath and realize that the missing piece is already within you. It's just time to discover it. It's time to just get clear, and it's not that hard. I can walk you through how to discover all of these things. I can walk you through on how to discover what you actually want and how to get it, why you do what you do, and how to change it or how to work with it, which is even more important. Like, what purpose has it served you? How is it helping you? How can you see that though you feel like it's been holding you back, it's actually a really strong benefit in your life? Like, we can shift those things. Some of those things, when I stopped looking at, I always want to improve things. And I hated that about myself, that nothing was ever good enough. And then I realized the purpose it serves. And then I learned that I can turn it on and turn it off, that there's a right time and a not so right time. But I recognize that I have a choice. I have a choice with it, and I get to embrace it as a strength and not be shy away from it as a weakness. And so if that's something you want to do, if you want to discover what your core motivations are, your core avoidances and fears and your core desires and why you do what you do and how to work with it or change it, contact me. Let's get on my calendar. Let's talk, because how much more time, energy, and resources do you want to try putting into all of these things, all that haven't worked? What if once we do this work together, all of those things you've already done, all the investments you've already made in your personal growth, what if those start to work too? And I know that to be true because I've done it. Well, friend, with that, take a moment, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how have I shown up? How have my desires been considered when I'm making a habit or change? Not just what you want for the outcome, but who you are right now and who you want to be. So with that, friend, choose joy until joy chooses you, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.